This is the way Tennessee started the year. Dewey Warren throwing the football. It was to become a way of life for the Volunteers. By the close of the regular season in late November, Warren had enacted this ritual 229 times. 136 of those throws landed safely in the grasp of his receivers for a phenomenal 59%. The strong right arm of the junior quarterback accounted for 1,716 yards and 18 touchdowns. This particular pass was caught by Johnny Mills, and there was nothing strange at all about that. The lanky senior end weaved his way around the pass defense to pull in a total of 48 passes, good for 725 yards. It was a year for tearing up the record book and rewriting it page by page. In all, 29 new records were established, most of them pertaining to the forward pass, including Austin Denney's 7 touchdown catches. Tennessee's Tigerish defense, led by All-America linebacker Paul Naumoff, came up with key plays when they were needed and ranked among the most unyielding aggregations in the nation. The fans dearly loved to watch these exciting volunteers of Coach Doug Dickey. For the third straight year, as many seasons as Dickey had been head coach, they set new attendance records at Knoxville's Neyland Stadium with crowds averaging 46,000. Another 245,000 fans saw the Vols play away from home, including 60,000 at the Gator Bowl. This was Tennessee football 1966. Sleek walking horses provided pageantry at all Tennessee games. And the University of Tennessee Marching Band, expanded to 165 members, filled Tennesseans with pride for its magnificent halftime show. The band has formed its giant T, and here through the tunnel on the east side of Neyland Stadium come the Volunteers. They are led by their co-captains, end Austin Denney and linebacker Paul Naumoff, who joined 2 other Tennessee players, center Bob Johnson and punter Ron Whidbey, in achieving All-America recognition. Handling the reins of the Volunteers, head coach Doug Dickey and a dedicated staff of assistants. Now let's get acquainted with these 1966 Volunteers. First, the offensive starting unit. The tight end, Austin Denney, co-captain, an All-America from Nashville who set a new Tennessee record for touchdown passes caught. At tackle, John Boynton, a ferocious blocker from Pikeville, who has one more season of varsity competition ahead of him. At guard, Charles Rosenfelder, one of an outstanding group of sophomores who played a vital role for the Volunteers. Charles from Humboldt was named to the Southeastern Conference All-Sophomore team. The center was Bob Johnson, an unerring snapper and strong blocker who, in only his junior season, was chosen an All-America. Bob's home is Cleveland, Tennessee. At the other guard position was Elliott Gamage, a scrambling junior from Cedartown, Georgia, one of the most improved members of the squad. Terry Bird, senior tackle from Elizabethtown, Kentucky, one of the smallest linemen, but with a world of heart and an all-out dedication to the game. The split end, Johnny Mills, whose amazing pass-catching deeds earned him a place in the 1966 All-Southeastern Conference team. John is a senior from Elizabethton, Tennessee. At quarterback, pressure-proof Dewey Warren, the fantastic swamp rat from Savannah, Georgia. Dewey was the key to the Vols' record-shattering passing attack. The tailback was Charles Fulton, an elusive, fast-moving junior from Memphis. His credentials included a rushing average of better than 4 yards a carry. At wingback for the Volunteers was Richmond Flowers, a speedster from Montgomery, Alabama, who worked hard to develop into one of the Vols' most sure-handed pass receivers. Richmond was an all-conference sophomore. Fullback Richard Pickens, a sophomore from Knoxville, contributed to the Vol running game with a 5-yard average. The coaches credited Richard's crisp blocking for much of the success in Tennessee's exciting offense. Now here are the members of the starting defensive unit. At end, Sophomore from Gate City, Virginia, Neil McMeans. At a most difficult position, McMeans came through with a steady performance week after week. At tackle, Dick Williams from Greenville, Tennessee. Another sophomore whose steady improvement earned him a first-team assignment. The middle guard was Bobby Morel, the stubborn senior from College Grove. A determined pass rusher, Bobby also stood his ground against the running attack. At tackle, Derek Weatherford, a junior who combined recklessness with unusual strength in the middle of the foul line. Weatherford's home is in Darlington, South Carolina. The other defensive end was manned by Nick Showalter of Kingsport. The Vols benefited from outstanding play provided by sparkling sophomores Showalter and McMeans. The heartbeat of the stout Tennessee defense was Paul Naumoff, co-captain from Columbus, Ohio. Paul moved from end to linebacker and in only one season advanced to All-America status. Naumoff's running mate, Doug Archibald, a native of Sarasota, Florida. Doug switched to linebacker from Monster Man and gained recognition in the All-Southeastern Conference squad. The Monster Man, Jimmy Glover. This sophomore rover from Lafayette, Tennessee, served capably at one of the most challenging positions on the defensive unit. Harold Stansel completed his third season as a regular defensive halfback. Hal's great speed and willingness to hit made him a nifty operator in the Vols secondary. Stansel's home is Knoxville. Another veteran defensive standout, Jerry Smith, a deadly tackler. This Thomasville, North Carolina senior carried out his pass defense chores and handled punt return duties for the Volunteers. Another prize rookie was Bill Young, a Knoxville youngster who moved into the tough defensive safety position and performed his assignments in big league style. It had been precisely 6 years since Tennessee had last scored a victory over Auburn, and ending the long famine earned first priority as the Vols moved toward the 1966 season opener at Legion Field in Birmingham. 57,000 fans saw the late September battle. Tennessee gets a break in the early moments when Tommy Lunsford, back to punt, fumbles on fourth down. The Vols take over on the Auburn 16. Warren finds his big end, Austin Denney, on a touchdown pass, allowing the Vols to assume an early lead. Junior Gary Wright, place-kicking specialist, boots it over the crossbars. Wright connected on 28 out of 29 extra point attempts during the season and was the Vols' second leading scorer. Rookie safety Bill Young picks off one of 3 interceptions made by Tennessee, ending an incipient Auburn drive in the second quarter. Held scoreless for more than 30 minutes, UT cranks up its offense late in the third period. It's Warren to Denney for 9 yards. Warren carries for 12 yards to the Auburn 33. A pass from Warren to Mills moves Tennessee inside the Tiger 25-yard line. Sophomore fullback Richard Pickens keeps the drive going with a pickup of 9 more yards. It requires 4 more plays before Husky fullback Bob Morel opens the fourth period by picking up the clinching yard for Tennessee's second touchdown, and the Vols lead 14-0. Doug Archibald, adjusting to his linebacker duties, falls on a fumble at the Auburn 39 to give the Vols another scoring opportunity. Sophomore wingback Richmond Flowers, playing before a home state crowd, gets 8 yards on a pass from Warren. Richmond finds an opening for 6 more yards, the play carrying to the Tiger 21. The clutch combination of Warren to Denney, which accounted for a record 7 touchdowns, strikes pay dirt 2 plays later. The 17-yard pass play puts the Vols on top, 21-0. UT is playing an alert football game. The Vols want this one badly, and Jim Bates pounces on an Auburn fumble at the Tiger 20. Less than 2 minutes are left in the game when veteran quarterback Art Galiffa loops one over the secondary to end Terry Dalton. It's a glorious 28-0 Tennessee victory. the Big Orange's first conquest of Auburn since 1960. Next came a game with an intersectional flavor. The season's first contest at Neyland Stadium before a crowd of 44,000 was against the Rice Owls of the tough Southwest Conference. The inspired Owls were playing their final season for their revered coach, Jess Neely. Rice, picking up a loose football at the Tennessee 36 late in the first period, had moved to the Volunteer 6 when they were stopped short of a touchdown by a determined defense. Rosenfelder dropped Shelton for a 1-yard loss. And a third down pass is deflected in the line. On fourth down, Kuchka gives the Owls a brief 3-0 lead with his field goal from the 14. With only seconds left before the end of the half, and with the score tied 3-all, Warren's pass to Mills moves the ball into Rice territory. Dependable Austin Denney is on the receiving end for a 25-yard gain on a pass from Warren. Then, with only 9 seconds left, Rice unaccountably calls timeout. That's all the added help Warren needs. He spots Mills at the goal line. Johnny's nifty catch gives him the first touchdown of his sparkling career. He's obviously quite elated about it. Tennessee has a precarious 9-3 lead as the second half begins, but the Vols move into good field position when Jerry Smith returns a punt 28 yards to the Rice 45. Charlie Fulton puts steam into the drive with an 8-yard gain to the 26. The Warren to Denney combine does the rest. Here's a pass to Austin, accounting for 17 yards and placing the ball at the Owl 9. There's a 3-yard loss and a fumbled pitch out. Then Warren connects with Denney for the final 12 yards to give UT a second touchdown and a 16-3 lead. All-America Naumoff grabs a deflected Rice pass, setting the stage for UT's final touchdown of the day. The ball is at the Volunteer 43. The most spectacular play of the game, Warren's arching pass to his wingback Fulton, catches Rice off guard and picks up 44 yards to the 13. Junior tailback Walter Chadwick hauls in a pass. The play good for 13 yards and another Volunteer score. Tennessee turns back a stubborn Rice team, 23-3. Two of the Southland's great powers met at Grant Field in Atlanta before a sellout throng and a national TV audience. Georgia Tech, combining brilliant passing and running attack, presented a special challenge to the proud Volunteer defense. It was a bruising battle and an epic defensive struggle. Tennessee's offense never looked better than in the early moments. Here Morel cracks the Tech defense for 13 yards. Naumoff, successor to Frank Emanuel as Tennessee's All-America linebacker, zeroes in on Tech quarterback Kim King and stops him for no gain. This play was typical of the slashing defensive action. Rugged Morel shows the form that made him a junior college All-America the previous season with a 26-yard carry midway of the opening period. Jimmy Glover, junior monster man, hauls in an errant Georgia Tech pass. The interception setting up a ball scoring drive. Tennessee's lone score of the game, a field goal, is set up when Warren passes to Flowers for 13 yards in the second quarter. When the march is halted at the Engineers 10, Gary Wright enters the game and comes through with a 27-yard field goal that puts Tennessee ahead 3-0. Tech offsets the Vol lead with a field goal of its own. Here is a play that reveals the stout quality of the Tennessee defense. Kim King's fumble is recovered by Lenny Snow as Tech retains possession. With their advance stymied, the Engineers call on Bunky Henry, who delivers a tying 22-yard field goal. Tech forges ahead minutes later after the ever-present W.J. Blaine picks off a foul pass and returns the interception to the 32. With Tech unable to penetrate the ball defense, Bunky Henry again comes on to kick a field goal. This one a 41-yard shot. That is the longest of his career. The titanic defensive battle continues the rest of the game. Tech hands the Volunteers their first loss of the season, 6-3. Defending national champion Alabama brought an undefeated team to Neyland Stadium in mid-October. The largest crowd ever to see a sports event in Tennessee, 56,000 fans, sat through an almost continuing downpour to watch a battle of gigantic proportions and a never-to-be-forgotten fourth quarter. The rain-slippery football pops out of an Alabama backhand and into the clutch of the Vols' Derek Weatherford. The big tackles recovery puts Tennessee in business early at the Tide 23. Charlie Fulton switched this game from wingback to tailback, reels off 13 yards to move Tennessee inside the Alabama 10. Warren hits Flowers, but the play only picks up 2 yards. Denney breaks clear, takes a pass from Warren at the 3, and easily steps into the end zone. The Volunteers go ahead 7-0. Whitby, the nation's greatest punter, who ended the season with a 43.8 average, keeps the Tide bottled up with a 54-yard beauty that Walter Chadwick downs on the Alabama 3. Tennessee's attack is in high gear later in the first quarter as Richard Pickens rushes for 6 yards. Fulton tries the right side of the Tide line and breaks through for 8 more yards and a first down. The Alabama line stiffens at the 23, bringing a decision to go for the field goal. Gary Wright makes it good from the 40, and Tennessee leads 10-0 at the end of the first quarter. An Alabama threat midway through the second period fails to produce any points as Ken Stabler fumbles and Paul Naumoff pulls in the loose football. Enjoying good field position at its own 45, gives Alabama its golden chance with a fumble late in the third period. Sophomore end, Mike Ford recovers at the ball 46. This pass from Stabler to Dennis Holman, combined with a penalty against Tennessee for holding, advances the ball 39 yards and moves Alabama all the way down to the Volunteer 15. The Tide is headed for its first score. On the second play of the fourth quarter, Stabler carries across to narrow Alabama's deficit to 2 points, 10-8, as the Tide scored a 2-point conversion. Alabama mounts a winning drive in the final period, going 75 yards to score. After the Tide reaches the 5, Tennessee's line bows up, and as these two plays show, halt Alabama's momentum. Steve Davis trots onto the field in a tension-packed situation and kicks the go-ahead field goal. 3 minutes and 23 seconds are left, and Alabama leads 11-10. There is still time for a Dewey Warren engineered comeback. Bill Baker, a fine sophomore, makes a sensational grab of a pass at midfield. Former quarterback Charlie Fulton takes a pitch from Warren and passes to Austin Denney, who is spilled at the Alabama 13. The play covers 38 yards. Fullback Bob Morel's power carries the ball to the 2-yard line. Only seconds are left in this important Southeastern Conference battle. But Tennessee's game comeback avails nothing. A field goal try on third down is wide to the right, sending the Vols down to an 11-10 defeat at the hands of the defending national champion. The Fighting Gamecocks of South Carolina came across the mountains to Knoxville, ready to play a football game. They put forth a gallant effort that tested the ability of the Volunteers to rally their forces and come from behind. The contest, played at Neyland Stadium, counted in SEC standings. The Vols trail 11-0 when a break late in the second period gives them a chance to get back in the game. Naumoff recovers a fumble at the Gamecock 36. Fulton sweeps in for 10 yards, moving the ball to the 21. On the next play, Warren fires at the sideline to Richmond Flowers at the 14. Richmond tightropes down the east side of the field and goes in for the score. Warren holding for a fake kick, passes to Fulton for the Vols' two-point conversion. Trailing 11-8 as the third quarter opens, Tennessee gains possession in Carolina territory when Mike Fair, under terrific pressure from Neil McMeans, throws a pass that is intercepted by Jerry Smith. Richard Pickens advances to the 14 for a 10-yard gain. Then Fulton circles right end and moves the ball to the 6. It takes the Vols 4 more plays to get in, but Warren dives across for the score from inside the 1. Tennessee goes out front, 15-11. Tennessee, playing a strong second half, cashes in on another opportunity in the final period when defensive back Harold Stansel's interception gives the Vols the ball and stops a Gamecock drive. 3 passes account for almost all the yardage in the 78-yard scoring march. Warren starts the aerial fireworks with an 8-yard throw to Chadwick. Warren spots Flowers, and the sophomore wingback gets the ball into Gamecock territory, reaching the 37. On the next play, it is Warren to Flowers again, this time good for 37 yards and a score. South Carolina scores as the game ends, but Tennessee has posted its third victory, a 29-17 verdict in an interconference match. Memphis, site of the memorable 1965 victory over UCLA, turned out nearly 50,000 fans for the Vols' encounter with fast-developing Army. The Cadets, under new coach Tom Cahill, had suffered only 1 defeat, and that to eventual national champion Notre Dame. Tennessee puts together its most devastating offensive performance of the year. An Army drive is cut short when Harold Stansel recovers a fumble at the 25. Flowers explodes for an 11-yard gain with a nifty move after a lateral. 7 plays are required to cover 75 yards. Warren opens the second quarter with a pass to Mills, who sidesteps a would-be tackler and advances the ball for a 17-yard gain. A beautiful piece of running by Charlie Fulton produces a score, the play covering 28 yards. The touchdown, combined with an earlier field goal by Gary Wright, gives Tennessee a 10-0 lead early in the second period. Fourth down play by Lindell fails to gain as Bobby Morel and Derek Weatherford apply the stop. Tennessee takes over on its own 31 and launches another touchdown drive. Warren, who gained 250 yards passing against the Cadets, connects with Flowers for 17 yards. Johnny Mills, an all-Southeastern Conference end, makes a fantastic catch of a Warren pass to move the ball deep into Army territory. Fulton crosses the goal over left tackle, enabling Tennessee to carry a 17-0 lead into intermission. The points continue to pile up in the fourth quarter after an exchange of third-quarter touchdowns. A 69-yard ball march pays off when Warren finds the range on a throw to reserve end Terry Dalton for the final 24 yards. Sophomore defensive end Nick Showalter climaxes a solid Tennessee performance by grabbing a deflected Army pass and scampering 43 yards for the game's final touchdown. Tennessee rolled past Army with a fine blend of offense and defense by a score of 38-7. Chattanooga, which always fields a well-coached team under the veteran Scrappy Moore, brought a team to Knoxville featuring several standout athletes. This was Tennessee's final game before the closing grind against three traditional conference opponents. Tennessee, unexpectedly behind at the half, 10-7, goes to work in the third quarter to get on the scoreboard again. Here, Charlie Fulton rambles for 11 yards. Warren fires to Mills, and the big end just misses in his efforts to cross into the end zone. That's Warren going across for the score that restores Tennessee to the lead. It's now a 14-10 ball game. In the fourth quarter, a game marked with heavy rains, after another touchdown widens the gap to 21-10. Warren hits Flowers for a 13-yard gain. Then Pickens finds room for a 6-yard advance as Tennessee tries to nail down the decision. Warren climaxes this drive as he lofts one to his splendid sophomore receiver, Richmond Flowers, for the final score in a 28-10 Tennessee victory. Homecoming on the Hill brought back thousands of alumni for a game against an Ole Miss team that was typically strong and talented. Every seat at Neyland Stadium was sold weeks in advance. Fans saw a fierce defensive struggle punctuated by occasional offensive flurries. Homecoming festivities were highlighted with a gala downtown parade. Two big plays give the Rebels their first touchdown following the interception of a Tennessee pass. Late in the first half, on the tackle-eligible call, Bob Vaughn hauls in a Bruce Newell toss at the 22. Wingback Bruce Matthews outmaneuvers the ball secondary, gets clear in the end zone, and is waiting for Newell's perfectly timed pass. Ole Miss goes on top, 7-0. The strong Rebel defense, rugged in clutch situations, keeps heavy pressure on Dewey Warren. Here, Jerry Richardson latches on to a mid-air fumble in the fourth quarter and sprints 51 yards for the clinching touchdown. Even when they're 2 touchdowns behind with less than 2 minutes to go, these Volunteers won't give up. Warren's pass to Mills moves the balls from their 2 to the 7. This play finds Warren to Mills, moving out to good field position at the 30. Another Warren to Mills pitch gains 13 more yards. Again, Mills makes the catch as UT keeps its belated drive alive by moving into Ole Miss territory. Warren's pass to Austin Denney moves the ball to the 20. Again, the rugged tight end from Nashville shows his ability to make catches in clutch situations. This play carries to the Rebel 10. The Warren to Denney tandem stays cranked up. Another 7 yards is picked up as Big Austin moves to the 3. Reasoning that nothing succeeds like success, Warren stays with a winner and fires a touchdown pass to Denney. A shutout is averted as Ole Miss downs the Volunteers 14-7. The regionally televised Kentucky game at Knoxville in mid-November sewed up the bid to play Syracuse in the Gator Bowl. In a series distinguished by surprise happenings, the Vol-Wildcat battle produced a rare harvest of football thrill. Midway of the first quarter, Warren completes one for 22 yards to Mills. It was the start of a record-setting day for the senior end from Elizabethton, Tennessee. As he does so often when pay dirt is near, Warren looks for Austin Denney for the final 3 yards, and Tennessee goes out front 7-0. Here's a spectacular run back of a punt in the second quarter. Dickie Lyons, brilliant Kentucky sophomore, fields Ron Whidbey's punt at his 28. Lyons follows his blockers perfectly and races 72 yards for the tying touchdown. Later, Kentucky goes for a field goal from the 16. Paul Naumoff finds an opening in the Wildcat line and darts through to block the kick. Jerry Smith retrieves the ball at the goal and brings it out to the 10. Kentucky comes up with another big play before the end of the half. Terry Beadle's pass is hauled in by Larry Seipel, who carries to the 2 before he's overtaken by Jerry Smith. Beadles carries across from the 1. But there is a minute and 42 seconds left on the clock, and Tennessee goes to work. Kentucky is looking for the pass, but Richard Pickens gets loose on a draw play for 16 yards. Warren to Mills gains 33 yards. At the end of the game, Mills had accounted for 225 yards as a receiver for a new Southeastern Conference record. The payoff comes on a 7-yard strike to Richmond Flowers. The touchdown and Gary Wright's conversion puts Tennessee on top at the half, 14-13. Late in the third period, Charlie Fulton goes off tackle, moving from his 34 to the 48. Pickens, successfully working the draw again, crosses into Kentucky territory. The great speed of Richmond Flowers is evident as a sophomore wingback sensation carries to the 19. The touchdown play, a pass from Warren to Flowers to open the fourth quarter. Tennessee leads 21-13 with only 18 seconds gone in the final period. Highlight comes when Mills catches a Warren pass at the 35 and goes the rest of the way for a touchdown. The play covers 72 yards. Setting Mills free is a sensational block by Flowers, who comes on like a streak to lend assistance. Kentucky's last major threat goes down the drain when Bill Young intercepts Beadle's long pass and returns it to midfield. The interception helped preserve a 28-19 Tennessee victory over the aroused Wildcats. A big rivalry for Tennessee each year is the intrastate series with Vanderbilt. The Vols went to Nashville looking for a victory that would allow them to take a record of 7 wins against 3 losses into the Gator Bowl game. All Tennessee seniors are present at midfield for the toss of the coin. The Vols waste no time trying to salt this one away. On the second play of the game, Fulton goes for 7 yards. Warren gives an example of his versatility by picking up 9 yards around left end. This time the call goes to Flowers, and the sophomore Swifty moves ahead for 11 yards. Richard Pickens, an outstanding sophomore from Knoxville, gains the remaining yardage for Tennessee's first touchdown. Less than 6 minutes have elapsed. Tennessee advances from its own 44 to a second touchdown, highlighted by this pass from Warren to his top receiver, Johnny Mills. Warren circles end and goes in for the score to put Tennessee on top, 14-0. Warren's pass hits Terry Dalton just short of the goal. The rangy end pitches back the ball to Bill Baker, who crosses the goal, but the ball is ruled dead at the 1. The play leads to a third ball touchdown. Here Warren again skirts end and goes in to score, giving the Volunteers a 21-0 lead in the first quarter. Sophomore Bill Baker, heir apparent next season to Jerry Smith as the Vols' punt return artist, dashes 44 yards with a bandy punt on the first play of the second quarter. Bobby Morel, a Middle Tennessee boy playing his final regular season game, is a terror on defense. After blocking 2 bandy passes, Bobby chokes off a Commodore drive with a fumble recovery at the 19. Tennessee sweeps 81 yards. Here is a Warren pass to Mills, who moves in for an apparent score. But the play is called back because of offsetting penalties. Undaunted, Warren makes it look easy as he fires again to Mills, whose catch closes out the scoring. Tennessee routs Vanderbilt 28-0 to set the stage for the Gator Bowl trip. Finally, the reward for exciting heads-up play through the demanding 10-game regular season schedule, a trip to the Gator Bowl. The Vols visit sunny Florida to meet Syracuse, voted the champion of the East and boasting the nation's strongest 1-2 backfield running punch in Floyd Little and Larry Zonka. A record crowd at Jacksonville of more than 60,000 includes 17,000 fans from the Volunteer State. The Vol aerial circus goes to work early. Denney drags in Warren's pass deep in Syracuse territory. Gary Wright's 36-yard field goal attempt is through, and Tennessee jumps ahead of the rugged Orangemen 3-0. In the second period, the Vols drive goalward again. Warren connects with Denney for 37 yards to give the march momentum. After this pass from Warren to Flowers, Wright's 38-yard placement gives the junior kicking specialist his second field goal for a new Gator Bowl record. Veteran end Johnny Mills, making his final appearance with the Big Orange, latches on to one of the 8 catches he made against Syracuse. The defense is looking for a pass, but Tennessee pulls a surprise with a brilliantly executed draw play on which Richard Pickens rambles for 32 yards. The ball drive appears stymied, bringing on Gary Wright for a field goal attempt. But no, it's a fake, and Warren fires to Denney in the end zone. Austin is well covered, but he manages a sensational catch for the game's first touchdown. Tennessee goes on top, 12-0. Syracuse's offense is concentrated in its bruising ground game. And when a pass is attempted late in the second quarter, Tennessee's Bill Young picks it off. Now the play of the year. From the 29-yard line, it's Warren to Mills. A catch that must be seen to be believed. Now, look once more at the play which epitomizes Tennessee's great passing attack. The gem is called back for a holding penalty, but Warren, unruffled by the turn of events, sails a pass to Richmond Flowers, who makes a sensational catch. Then the touchdown. An easy 2-yard toss to Flowers that gives the Vols an 18-0 lead. Tennessee carries its 18-point margin into intermission when Bill Young, the fine sophomore safety, comes up with his second big interception of the game. The sheer strength of the Syracuse ground attack pays off in the third period when Larry Zonka barrels over from the 8 for Syracuse's first touchdown. The Vols, determined to protect their lead, play a more conservative game in the second half. Occasionally, there are fireworks, as with this throw from Warren to the great tight end, Austin Denney. Now behold the All-America halfback, Floyd Little, one of the most damaging runners ever to confront a Tennessee team, as he breaks loose for 54 yards. He's finally overtaken by Paul Naumoff, who gives a demonstration of his invaluable speed. Let's look at 4 key defensive plays that highlighted Tennessee's second half performance and which saved the day for the Volunteers. Nick Showalter moves over from his end position to throw Ole Allen on 4th down for a 3-yard loss at the 7. Another Syracuse opportunity is lost when Allen, hit hard at the line, fumbles the ball into the hands of Harold Stansel at the Tennessee 15. Late in the game, it's Larry Zonka's bruising strength against the unyielding resolve of linebacker Paul Naumoff and a great defensive play at the Volunteer 4. Doug Archibald comes up with a vital interception as Tennessee staves off a strong Syracuse comeback bid. The Volunteers climax a season of thrill-a-minute football with an impressive 18-12 victory over the Orange Men of Syracuse. It's a second straight bowl victory for the gallant forces of head coach Doug Dickey.